Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Ringside. My name is John.
Oh, and I'm John. That's me.
Geez, you act like we've never done this before.
I know. Well, I do the intros on the other one, so
Oh, that's true. Y'all might notice here that Kendra is not with us today. No, she is on a bachelorette trip. So, at the time of this recording, anyway. So instead, I called in a friend, my co-host of the other podcast I'm a part of, John/John. So today we have my friend John Millsap.
hello. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope to live up to Kendra's level.
I mean, listen, I say the same thing every morning when I wake up, and I never do. So, anyway, all good. So, we're coming at you off the heels of this hurricane that just kind of battered Florida.
Yeah, geez.
Thankfully, we're all okay. Um, but our hearts do go out to the people who are affected. So if you know of any local organizations that you can donate to, take this time to look them up and shout them out because there's a lot of people out there struggling who could definitely use a helping hand. But today we're going to talk about the issues, the important things that matter. It's election season,
Hmm.
damn it.
Yes.
And so I think, John, what I'd like to hear from you is
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts trailer?
Uh, I'm. Thank you for saving these hard-hitting questions for me and not Kendra. I do appreciate that. Uh, no, I'm really excited for Thunderbolts. I think the trailer looks intriguing.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's going to be an interesting little thing. I'm excited about the cast. I'm excited to see all these characters working together. Yeah, yeah. What about
Yeah.
you?
So, I mean, kind of the ongoing truth around here is that old Johnny P, it's hard to disappoint sometimes.
Yes.
Um, so both my a green and red flag for me. I really, really enjoyed the trailer in the sense that I think the movie looks very fun. What they've presented to us looks
Totally.
very fun. I don't appreciate that the teaser, excuse me, this teaser that they've given us was 3 goddamn minutes. What happened to the days of the 30, 45-second
Yeah,
teasers
yeah.
when I knew
That's
nothing?
the glory days. I just, yeah, I could go on a whole hour-long rant about this.
No,
That
this is the place for it, brother. Don't hold back.
trailers used to be good. They used to do their fucking job where
Right,
you get just enough of the info about the story to make you go, okay, I'm interested, and then it's all vibes. That's all you need. It's just vibes and like the briefest summary of a story so that you can go, ooh, okay, I'm interested now.
right,
Maybe throw some cast in there if you've got some big names.
right.
But like I don't need to I my brother and I now like refuse to go see a lot of trailers for a bunch of Marvel movies and things because we know exactly what's going to happen otherwise.
Right. Yeah,
Like the
I'm the
the
same exact
new
way.
the new Captain America movie, I can tell you exactly how that movie's going to play out from top to bottom.
And that was technically a teaser trailer. I'm like, y'all, we complained about that last time we talked about that trailer too. Was it's just so here's a teaser trailer, and the movie wasn't even good. The movie I'm about to tell you about wasn't even that great. It wasn't. I don't think it was as bad as people think. But if I'm saying it's not that great, then damn, it was hard for him to even sit through it. Um, I remember going to the movies to see The Dark Knight. That's not the movie I was talking about. I love that movie.
I was about to
No,
throw fists.
no. That's one of my favorite movies. But I remember sitting in the theater to watch The Dark Knight, and because the star of that movie is Christian Bale, like they were going to show. This is back when movie stars were like more of a thing, right? That star power was more of a thing. So I remember seeing a trailer, and it was just like all dark, like the trailer. You heard some voiceover, and then you see like a flashlight go over Christian Bale's face. He's holding, I think, a rifle or something. And then at the very last second of the trailer, you see the metallic chromed out skeleton of a Terminator. And then it was the
Mm.
Terminator Salvation, like the date and the title, and that was it. and that was the entire teaser. Chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
that's
hyped
a
to see it.
teaser.
Yeah,
That's a teaser.
just
That
a
gets you
little
hyped.
something.
That gets you excited. And yes, I agree. That movie, not very good. But
Yeah, and I say that
but
I love the Terminator movies. Don't get me wrong. Well, I love the
uh
first two. I love the first two.
one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah,
It's insane to watch how bananas they go so fast. But
yeah,
um yeah, that's a teaser. Like I
yeah.
said, 30 seconds max. It gives you a vibe, and that's it. That's a teaser.
That's all you got to know. I really love. And speaking of the Dark Knight, like they had, I mean, they had full on trailers. Don't get me wrong, but they also had like this whole campaign, this whole viral marketing campaign. They were one of the early ones, I think, to do it, to have like the website up and all these different like cards.
I remember all
Remember?
this. Yeah,
Oh man, we're
absolutely.
we're really dating ourselves here. Um, back in 2007, 2008. But yeah, like there's ways to like hype it up, but yeah, just 3 minutes for a teaser, that's crazy. Especially when now the teaser acts as the trailer. It gives me a good
Yeah,
idea of what the story is, a good idea of who I'm gonna see there, and things that are gonna happen. That said, I do think it looks fun. I think that this teaser or this trailer, I gotta stop saying teaser. I think that the trailer indicates that Marvel, Marvel Studios is continuing to like really try and recapture and revitalize what a superhero movie was at one point considered. Like a fun action, maybe action comedy.
sure.
And honestly, I think that's what's needed right now.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I
I'm in
think
total agreement.
I appreciate the big swing that is the concept of the multiverse. And even though at large, as a whole, I have enjoyed phases 4 and 5 so far, but I do think we we've lost space for these somewhat smaller stories and these opportunities to just have fun with a Marvel movie.
Not everything needs to be a earth-ending, world-shattering event.
Avengers level threat.
Yeah. That's not needed. It's not fun. It makes those big threats less threatening.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, absolutely. I keep hearing rumors that like they keep going back and forth on the next Spider-Man script because there's creative differences on whether they want it to be street level or multiversal. And it's like street level all day.
yeah,
I we need a Spider-Man who just goes and he's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We just
right.
that's all we need.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that I recently rewatched the Spider-Man Homecoming, and
Mhm.
man, what a good movie.
Hits every time. Hits every
It's
time.
and it's one of those that like you can't. I know we're deviating a little bit from Thunderbolts, and we'll talk more about Thunderbolts specifically. But now that
Mhm.
we're on the topic, I feel like the Homecoming series, the MCU Spider-Man series, granted, we I think Homecoming is the closest we get to that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But so granted, we do get these big, massive movies with this character. So, but I think they get a lot of unnecessary hate for that reason. Because they're still, I think they're all very, very good.
They're all good. They're all
I,
fun.
I don't think I've disliked any of the Spider-Man appearances in the MCU so far.
Yeah.
But we just did it. And I get it. Money talks. They're like, oh, we did this big multiverse thing for the last one, so let's make another one.
Yeah.
Then it's no longer special. I
It's
agree.
no
Let's
longer
make it.
special. It's yeah, absolutely agreed. And to go back to your comment on the Thunderbolts being more small time and the multiverse in general, their phase 4 and 5. I I agree with you that I think I've enjoyed everything that Marvel has put out so far. I've not hated anything,
Right.
or even really disliked anything.
Yeah. There's one thing that I've disliked, but go ahead, finish your thought.
Um, It might be the same. I was about to say the same thing, so
Oh,
we might be on the same page on that
okay.
one. But that being said, I called this fatigue the second that I heard Kevin Feige say, "Oh yeah, we're going to introduce the multiverse." I knew it the second he said that this wasn't going to go well because multiverse stories play better in the comics,
Yeah,
especially when they're this long arching thing that they're trying to do. It
right,
just plays out so much better because you're able to pick up and put down different issues,
right.
and they all can still make sense on their own and follow throughout. But in a movie franchise, the audience expects everything to link to the next, to the next, to the next.
Mm,
And so you lose that freedom that you do within a comic setting, right?
yeah,
That's why the Eternals didn't do as well as it could have, because it felt like this outside thing disconnected from the multiverse,
right,
which it is essentially, but because it's in a film setting, people are less forgiving of that outside story,
right,
right? So yeah, multiverse storylines don't work over this long arch. The only exception that proves the rule is the Into the Spider-Verse franchise. And even then, I hesitate to call it a franchise because it's just going to be a trilogy and that's it. They've already
right,
said that. And like, fine, keep it contained. You know exactly what you're doing with that. And even within that multiverse, it's only the Spider-Man multiverse. They're
right,
not expanding it to other things.
right.
So yeah, I've
That's a
been very much uh, disappointed in that choice.
Yeah, that's a great point. I hadn't thought of that. Like I hadn't thought of it in the sense of like comparing it to comics. But I think you're right. I think people general movie going audiences, and this isn't like a dig to make myself sound smarter. They're not that patient.
No,
Um, they're willing to wait for the Thanos, you know, that end game style battle,
and
and that was a
they're
satisfying payoff.
100%, and because there was enough seed planting throughout that you could still maintain your insular stories, but you could see where everything was going
Right,
ultimately. In this storyline with Kang, that wasn't there. There was no way for you to go, okay, but why are they here then? You know,
right,
like with the Civil War story, right? In the earlier phases, an audience could put together and see, oh, okay, this is going to be complicated once Thanos shows up. This is a really interesting complication. Let's see how this plays out,
right.
right? Not to mention the Iron Man Captain America storyline is just interesting on its own. So people were way more forgiving on that as well. Again, not to say that any of these aren't as interesting, because I do like a lot of the storylines that we've gotten. Um, I will say though, the other big thing, and I'm so glad that Feige has course corrected on this, the other big thing is just the sheer amount of content that we have gotten recently. The
Yeah,
fact that Marvel for almost entirety of Phase 4, right,
was
was
just
doing a TV show and a movie, a TV show and a movie, a TV show and a movie all in the same year. Like it was three of each all in the same year, just conjuncted together, and that's
right,
insane. Of course people are going to get tired of that shit.
right,
Like we used to get Marvel movies two a year.
right. And
And
I'm not complaining this year. I mean, the fact so far
right.
we've had just in terms of Marvel Studios,
Hmm.
Marvel adjacent properties, well, just Marvel Studios, and even then it's Marvel Television mostly. We had Echo to start the year,
Hmm.
underrated show by the way.
Hmm.
Um, we've had but the only major release is Deadpool and Wolverine. There's no other movie. I mean, I know you
Yeah.
know this, but like no other movies. Um, and right now we have Agatha all along.
And then
So
Agatha all along.
and I don't think there's anything else coming out this year.
I don't think Marvel has anything else happening this year, which again, thank God,
Right.
because we needed this reset. We needed some time just to be like, oh, right, I remember this being fun. I remember this being an event that you go to.
And if you think of the next few like projects, so we've got in February we have Captain America and In May we have Thunderbolts asterisk, right? And then we have at some point, maybe in March, we have Daredevil Born Again. So like again, all these like somewhat smaller stories,
Yep.
or at least more contained. And I'm very, very excited for that. I think it's a nice breather. Because even Deadpool and Wolverine, I loved Deadpool and Wolverine. But even that was in essence a Deadpool multiverse story. So
Yep.
like, and I think they did it well. I will give them that. I think they did it well.
It was
Um,
fun.
fair enough. uh,
I say that like I didn't like the movie. I loved that movie, but it was more again, I've just been very disappointed in multiverse stories from
sure,
the MCU.
because now you can sort of feel that they're like anytime they're doing it, even with Loki. I think Loki season 2 was beautiful. It had a beautiful ending. Um,
Loki season 1 and season 2, the Loki show is the only time that I've been like, "Ooh, that's how you do multiverse MCU."
right,
That
and
right there.
I think I think they there are some projects like that that really wrap up and really use it really well. And I think Deadpool did as good as it could.
Hmm.
Um, and but you can kind of tell they're trying to use some of these projects to like fix some things, end some things. I think we're all just in agreement that we're pretending Secret Invasion never happened. Um,
Oh boy.
that I
Still.
think that's the one thing that I haven't liked so far in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, that was bad. But Thunderbolts. Um,
Thunderbolts.
things about the trailer I really really liked. I agree. I liked the interplay between all the characters. I really really like that this feels like it's going to be primarily a Yelena Belova story
Yes.
because love her as a character. Loved her in Black Widow. Loved her in Hawkeye, another underrated show.
Yep.
Don't fight me on that one. Um,
I won't.
thanks, I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm really digging that it's kind of seems
And
like her story.
Florence Pugh just raises any project she's in up
Yeah,
to the next level. Like she's just an incredible, incredible actress.
yeah. And there was one more thing I was gonna say. So oh, and I like that we're picking up with characters we haven't seen in a minute. I mean, I think the most recent we saw was maybe Alexei, the Red Guardian, and
Yep.
John Walker. But like the fact that
Ghost
we're
is
seeing
back.
Ghost,
So excited.
so I'm like that's such a cool character that we haven't seen like I think since that Ant-Man and the Wasp. Um, so very very excited. I'm excited to see how they're going to use Sentry in this.
I'm so very interested in this. Oh man.
Like what do you do with a Superman character in the MCU?
Well, a Superman character that is also possessed by a demon. That's like, let's get I love when the MCU gets weird, so I'm really hoping they lean into that shit.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, speaking of demon, like we'll get to it when we talk about Agatha all along. But
Thought you were gonna say Diddy.
fuck. Um, the Marvel's new biggest villain, the actual real life P Diddy. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Uh,
Oh,
all right.
sorry. All right.
um, so those are some things I really liked about the trailer. I want to know. I want to know why specifically. We saw a couple of like I saw Loki Scepter in there, and I'm like, are they just
Yep.
showing it off? Is that going to play a part in anything? I don't know. Um, but
One imagines without the stone in it, it's not
it's
like
just
powered at all. It's just
a
kind of
prop.
there.
Yeah,
I think they're in a holding facility for like all these other like cursed bad objects or whatever. That's where they're like where they meet up.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Now, do we
I'm very
think? Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do we think that? I mean, just given the nature of several of these characters that are in this, that we have a sort of super serum influence story. I kind of get that with Brave New World a little bit. So
Sure.
I'm wondering if, because that'll be interesting, because I know in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a hotly debated show here on Ringside. I try to give that show a lot of grace because of the pandemic. But anyway,
Yeah. There's
um,
there so much of that show changed
yeah,
because of the pandemic, and you
yeah,
have to know that going into it.
right. So but even what we got was very influenced by like the Power Broker and like the
Yes.
the the new Super Soldier Serum that may or may not still exist out there. Um, so I'm very curious to see what the main, and I guess I know that they're going to team up, and I know that they're either protecting or fighting Sentry. So thankfully, that's all we know, given this long ass trailer we got.
Totally. I
Um,
I think I think that could be part of the asterisk
mm,
meaning is that they're not actually a team.
right,
I think that's the asterisk. Like it's Thunderbolts. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like I
right.
think that's what it's supposed to be. I think that's my theory anyway.
Yeah, so my theory is a little more, it's nothing concrete, but it is a little more out there. Part of me thinks this isn't the title of the movie, or at least the full title of the movie.
Sure.
I think it might be, I don't know what it could be, but I think it might have either a subtitle beneath it, like Thunderbolts Age of Ultron. Not Age of Ultron, but you get what I'm saying. That would be kind of funny. Uh because they are essentially a sort of makeshift Avengers dupe, right?
Well, so comic nerd coming out. Um, the Thunderbolts in the original comics were created by Baron Zemo. They
Mm-hmm.
were a supervillain team that was disguised as heroes that then was revealed. Now, we notably did not see, like a big bad. We saw Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character show up, who we really don't know much about. A lot of people, myself included, think that she's supposed to be Madam Hydra. Um,
Mm.
which could be very interesting, but it could also be that she's working with Zemo and we just haven't run into him yet. Because the last time we saw him was Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And
We,
that could be who
we're
Bucky is
doing
after.
we're doing what to the Winter Soldier?
Falcon.
Oh, okay.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You prevert. So yeah, so Bucky could be searching for Zemo after the events of that show, and that's where we meet him and get him in the mix. Now we also have a run in the comics where the team completely shifts and becomes the Dark Avengers,
Mm.
right? And in that run, Norman Osborn was behind that outfit. So no idea if they would go that route, probably not. But if it was going to be a like, the title melts away and it reveals something new, it would probably be the Dark Avengers. Um,
I could totally see. Oh, now I want this to happen. Um, I could totally see what's her name? Val, Julia
mhm.
Louis-Dreyfus' character. I could see her fishing out and reusing the Iron Patriot from Iron Man 3 and from the Dark Avengers.
Totally.
That would be so fucking funny. Um, I don't know. I don't even know what you'd do there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess there's still a lot of possibilities, I guess, that they could do.
If they
Um,
are going to reveal a different name, it's going to be after the new Brave New World. I
yeah,
think whatever plot device is at the post credits of that one, I
right.
think will lead into Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Because I mean there's no Avengers right now, so I could see, especially if Val is trying to move up the corporate ladder, right?
Hmm.
Forming her own Avengers, reforming. I mean, that's kind of the idea what the government was trying to do with the new Captain America, right? It's just them doubling down on that,
Yeah,
on what they can do, especially because I assume in Brave New World, love Sam. I assume between him and Thunderbolt Ross, they're gonna fuck something up. They're gonna fuck
almost
something up.
certainly. Yeah.
Um, So, may oh my God, what if they Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross fuck something up so bad, and that might be a slight spoiler, but I mean, I think at this point everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
Um, what if they fuck something up so bad that he's no longer president, and because of the effects of that, they have to change the name of the team? That would be crazy.
Yes.
That might
Yeah.
be it. I think we might have figured it out.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. 100% that's what's happening. Yeah.
Oh my God. You heard it here first, folks. Kevin, cut me a check, boy. Anyway, staying in the Marvel sphere. Oh, if y'all have any comments or questions or theories on Thunderbolts, drop them in the comments. We would love to hear them. Staying in the realm of Marvel. Staying in
Nah.
the realm of Marvel. Who's been messing up everything? Oh, it's been Agatha all along. I made that same joke before. I probably shouldn't do that again. But anyway, I'm gonna keep it in. Listen, it's hard. It's hard being the guy here, you know. Well, oh, I don't like that. That's a
Uh-huh.
wrestling term. That's a wrestling term. Being like the big guy, right? The main character.
Sure.
But because I co-host with Kendra, I hate, yeah, you know?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna shut the
Cut it, cut
fuck
it, cut
up.
it, cut it, cut
Cut
it.
it, cut that, cut that. Um, anyway, Agatha all along, we are 3 episodes in, so we're a third of the way in. We're back to the Marvel television on Disney Plus glory of having 9 episodes. I still miss the 13 episode runs from like the
Same.
Netflix days, but I do think 9 gives us a better opportunity for a more complete story than 6 episodes.
I agree.
Um, so I'm so excited. Right off the bat, John, I know how I feel about the show. I've talked about it on here already, but I would love to hear your thoughts on these first 3 episodes, and then we can dive a little deeper into episode 3.
I adore it. I adore this show. It's so up my alley. I can't stand it. Um, yeah, the first episode was maybe a touch slow, but I think that's only because it followed the procedural, the true detective procedural vibe, um, for maybe a hair too long. But it was so funny and it worked so well. I'm so excited for Aubrey Plaza to come back, which I think is going to be in the next episode.
Yeah, me too.
Um, episode two, ton of fun. Holy shit! This is if I saw somebody tweet this, and I agree completely. If this is what taking your time with in between projects gets you, then please take your time because holy crap, so fun meeting all the new characters. Patty LaPone is so great. Uh, um, all the different witches are so fun in their own way, and yeah, such a fan. I was so thrilled to and excited to get into episode three, which was amazing. So good.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with everything you said. I didn't mind, and I think it worked having the 2 episode release
Mhm.
for the premiere, because it for me it I think that kind of helped battle that like just ever so slightly slow feel of the first episode, which is, you know, generally her breaking out of the curse. So I think it makes a little sense that that one took a little more time than other episodes so
Sure.
far. But point taken. And I think having that second episode immediately available helped to not feel it as much, especially
I
because the end of that second episode was so good.
so good. I Let me ask you this, your opinion on this. From a I think the binge model has cursed us in a lot of ways, and part of that comes from the 2 episode delivery as opposed to just an hour long premiere. What
Mm.
do you Where do you stand on that?
Um, I I've never been much of a binger to begin with.
Hmm.
Only because, you know, ADHD brain, I can't just sit there for if it's a movie, that's one thing. I'm like mentally prepared for that. But if it's like a TV show, like I
Yeah.
can't, especially if they're like getting on like 45-hour long, you know, episodes, 45 minutes, an hour long episodes. I can't just sit there and watch 4 hours of The Witcher,
Yeah.
for a
Well,
day.
yeah, I think a lot of people discount the fact that when we see end credits, like that's a small reset. Like
Right,
you're saying, okay, this story, this chunk of the story is over now, as opposed to it being one continuous
right.
vibe that you're following.
Yeah,
And I feel like the 2 episode premiere, I'm like, okay, sure, but you could also have just made this an hour long
yeah.
and it would have been totally fine.
Yeah, that I haven't really I guess it doesn't really bother me as much only because I know that, you know, so for this show, I know we're gonna get a 2 episode premiere and a 2 episode finale.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know, maybe knowing that going in was a little made it a little more digestible. I also didn't
sure.
mind it for I think the Acolyte did it as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so and I think as much as I love that show, those episodes were too short, in my opinion, just in general, like throughout the
Agreed.
most of the season.
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
which is a testament. It's just more of like I wanted more of it, especially now. But these episodes those first 2 episodes were pretty long each, so I was surprised that they put both of them out at the same time. But no, I personally I don't mind it. I do think streaming binge culture has ruined a lot of how people consume
Hmm.
TV and movies in general. You know, I know we've experienced this together where I'm like, if we're gonna go the rare times that we go check out a movie together, I'm like, it's gotta be like early in the morning on like a Sunday. I don't want to be near anyone because people
Yeah,
don't know how to goddamn act in the movie theater these days. Um, but
I blame the pandemic just as much as I do binge culture on that
yeah,
because holy nuts, people
yeah.
just lost their damn minds.
We need an Alamo Draft House
Oh, what
petition.
I would kill for an Alamo Draft House in St. Pete.
Yes, yes. Don't
Uh,
I got to now I got to bleep that. Don't dox yourself.
damn it.
um so anyway, yeah, I have really enjoyed the show so far, and to everyone who's like, you know what, I'm not even gonna give the people who you get the same group of people who complain about everything, complaining about, women and gay people on this show, and I'm like, get fucked, go somewhere. Like, if you don't enjoy it, that's on you, because these first 3 episodes have been amazing. They've been really fun and just goddamn entertaining.
It's
um
so good.
I said this on the last episode, and I'm going to say it again here. I just have a hard time watching anything that Catherine Hahn is in and not having such a great time.
Yep,
She is
totally.
so incredibly talented. Um,
She's so funny. It's so effortless
yeah,
watching her perform. Like it's incredible.
and
She's
I feel
wonderful.
in this role and with this supporting. So you and I are people of the theater, right?
Mhm.
So I just think of like, man, each of these people, especially like someone as young as Joe Locke, I'm like, imagine your supporting cast being this cast. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Catherine Hahn is firing on all cylinders. One, because of who she is and just how she plays this character, but also like when you have all of these amazing actors around you, like I mean, you've done shows before. Like when someone else is like bringing their A game to a show, you're like,
It lifts
holy shit,
everybody up.
I have to bring my A game.
Yeah, it's so
So,
fun. It's such a
um,
great environment to be in, and you can feel it on screen.
yeah.
They're all having an absolute blast.
So this episode 3, uh,
Yeah.
even though it was the shorter of the 3 episodes, man, they made so much use of this time and just
Hmm.
hopping right into it because we had those we've done our introductory episodes. Now we're just hopping right into the trials.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a little, maybe I still have Evil Dead on the brain. Kendra caught this one where Mrs. Hart, Sharon Davis, my girl Sharon, um, veers off the road and starts getting swallowed into the mud
Yeah.
there. And I was like, she caught that one. She's like, I think that was a little Evil Dead thing. And I was like, maybe. I was like, I didn't think about that. I guess they are in the woods.
Yeah. 100%.
Um,
I'm keeping an eye out for any and all references. Like anytime they reference Wizard of Oz, I'm like, oh, I got that one.
true.
Which is a lot in this show.
I think she might be onto something though, because I know one of the posters they made for the show was an homage to the original like Evil Dead.
Yeah,
Um, so but yeah, so I love the trial. I said this on TikTok too. Man, the costume designer, man, I love everything about this show. Is so many people are gonna have so much fun with all the different looks of the coven throughout the series, and this was no different. Having the, the like the witchy garb that they were wearing into this like upper class house party costuming
yeah,
that
the
they
Real
had.
Housewife vibe, like so
Oh,
good.
that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was so funny. But this episode also really started to lean into, because I know I'm like, oh, we have like spooky time vibes in the first two episodes. This one I felt started really leaning into like the suspense, borderline like scary.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to know what you thought of the, especially particularly with the
I,
visions there.
Totally agreed. I really hope that they stick with this vibe all the way through, which I feel like based on the trailer they will. Um, because yes, 100% this is the perfect Halloween spooky show for Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah, so excited to see where else they go with this. The visions were so well done. Like they were creepy without being overly scary,
right.
and they helped us get to know these characters a little bit more. Like we now know a little bit more and more and more moving forward. Um, yeah, I'm so yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
really really exciting. I'm from at the end of episode two. I was all in on the teen being Wanda's kid. That this is our intro to Wiccan. However, I'm now debating on if we're sticking with that or if it's actually Agatha's kid somehow brought back.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is what I loved about WandaVision, and this is what I'm loving about this. Just like there has to be a red herring. Unless they've learned, hey, we can't do that twice, and it's gonna be what you think it is. But we know what WandaVision did on social media and on like YouTube, where
Hmm.
everyone was over analyzing everything. Not over analyzing, but just being
Which is
really,
why I adored when they name dropped Mephisto. I think that was 100% a middle finger to all the
yeah.
WandaVision viewers.
That's exactly what I said. I said that was Marvel's big fuck you moment. That, oh, they would never do it because blah. And even if we never see Mephisto on the show, which we probably won't,
I
except maybe.
can
Um,
I can I say
yeah,
can I
please, please,
put
please.
money? I'm gonna put money down. Sharon's coming back. Sharon was Mephisto.
What? I didn't think. You know what? I'm gonna support you on this because my whole thing was I'm like, I don't know where they're going with this teen character, with Joe Locke's character, who has been great on the show, by the way.
So
Um,
good. He's so fun.
he I'm like, I don't know, something. I was ne I was like, I feel like Wiccan would, that's too obvious. And also, how would that work? Because then they're gonna have to lump in when Wanda destroyed the Darkhold in every universe, she somehow brought a version of him back, and like he's been living here this whole time. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like
It'd be tricky.
there's a lot of ways they would have to explain that. And then I feel like they're doing all this stuff with Agatha's son to throw us off. So I'm like, is he? I know there's been some rumor about Aubrey Plaza's character being Blackheart,
Mm-hmm.
because she said, I have a heart, it's black, you know,
Yeah.
the black
Well,
heart drawn, yeah, a little on the nose, right?
excuse me, Marvel.
Right.
Uh,
So part of me is thinking, well, could the teen character be a version of that character? Um,
mm.
as an agent of Mephisto, could he be Mephisto himself? But having Sharon come back, That would be the biggest twist. Holy fuck. I love that.
I also
Also,
think it would fit the vibe of the show really well. Like it would be just silly enough,
yeah,
but still plausible.
plausible, but because yeah. Anyway, I don't think Sharon's staying dead though. I think we'll see her back.
Yeah,
I hope we see her back because I love Deborah Jo Rupp. So,
she's so
um,
good.
but yeah. So no secret, a lot of Agatha love here. Very excited to see, um, where the story continues to progress, and just hopefully we get more songs from the Lopez's because I love their work. So the last thing I want to talk about today. So since we're already on the topic of spooky season, now
Mm,
John, for the people who don't know, we host another podcast together
yes,
called
we do.
John Slash John, where we talk a lot about horror movies and all things spooky because you love horror movies and I'm learning to appreciate them. So if y'all want to go hear us talk more about other stuff, go check that out.
We just
Um,
finished going through the Evil Dead franchise over there, and we're about to do for our October episode, dropping on the 13th, Cabin in the Woods, which is a ton of fun.
And then we have a special Halloween special coming out later.
Yes,
So you get two in October. So you're getting a lot of John and John this over the next few weeks, over the next month, really. Um, so all that said, when I knew you were on board to come in and record for this particular podcast, it got me thinking. Like I know what a lot of people do around this time of year is they make their ever so unique um spooky season must watch
uh-huh.
lists, right? So I wanted to sort of do a play on that and just sort of know, are there any movies or shows or anything that fit that maybe aren't a part of strictly horror or like slasher, like anything. I mean, they all have those horror elements, right? So,
Hmm.
horror is a big, I feel like it's unfair to just call it one genre.
It is a big
Um,
umbrella.
So, but anything you might think of traditionally, is there anything that you have that you like, every year I got to watch this, even though it may not fit under those, what you might typically think for Halloween season?
Yeah, yeah. So I have to say, as much as I uh, dislike it as a major media conglomerate corporation defund billionaires,
Sure.
Disney Plus is a really really great resource for just
Mm.
this question. If you go into their Halloween collection, they have their Halloween episodes for shows like the Lizzie McGuire Halloween special, which is really really fun. I remember really enjoying the oh there's So Weird is a show on Disney that ran in the 90s. It's like kids' version of X-Files. It runs the gambit on being good and bad at the same time. So I highly recommend that show this, for spooky season. Um, Me personally, I know I have to watch every year. I watch the now that it's I can find it easily on Disney Plus, the animated short where a witch helps Huey, Dewey, and Louie prank Donald
Oh,
Duck. I think it's just called Trick or Treat, and it's so fun, and it's got a great spooky vibe, but it's Disney, it's Donald Duck, it's classic. Um, yeah, I highly recommend using Disney Plus to its full advantage if you want something spooky but not scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a couple of things I was thinking of, and these are, I think are easily digestible where you're like, oh, I could definitely make this work. So like the Doctor Strange movies in general,
Oh, for
but
sure.
but specifically Multiverse of Madness, which has some pretty gnarly body horror in there for it being a Disney or Marvel movie, right? But a couple there's two movies, there's two films. Well, one's a film, the other is a film that stage production. So Sweeney Todd, I gotta shout out Sweeney Todd.
Love Sweeney Todd.
Listen,
Great option.
for especially the movie for what it is. It's not the full stage Sweeney Todd because there's just a lot in the stage production and they have to make it work as a movie, right? But Sweeney Todd, a fantastic choice. If you love Tim Burton and just his aesthetic, I feel like Sweeney Todd is his aesthetic turned up to 11.
Yeah,
Like I feel like it's one of
absolutely.
the most Tim Burton movies there is for it not being like an original thing. Um and
Totally,
I
totally agreed.
I also really love this isn't this is debatable. I every year around this time love to watch the 25th anniversary performance of The Phantom of the Opera.
I knew exactly what you were going to say.
Listen, he's a scary guy. It's a love story
It's
for the ages.
it is a wonderful performance. I do love the 25th anniversary performance. I think it's really, really lovely.
But if you're someone who is like, he's dark and mysterious and he stalks a girl and kills people. So if that sounds like something you're into, um, you know, he can be a frightening guy. But nah, yeah, that's definitely one. I mean, if you're looking for just vibes, it's all this, you know, like fucking 16th century, not 16th century, but you know what I'm saying, right? 18th
Mm.
century, 19th century. I actually don't know. It might be 17th century, actually. I don't fucking know. But anyway, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Um, but yeah, these are all really, really fun options to kind of switch up your movie, your watch list, the things you have to watch during
I
the
will
season.
say, Shaun of the Dead is an excellent choice.
Ooh.
Very funny and still pretty gory and entertaining as a zombie movie, but it's so funny. Um, there's I will go ahead and throw these out there to anybody who has, I think Peacock cycles these in every October, but any of the classic Universal monster movies,
Mm.
absolutely watch those and turn off all the lights and pop yourself a bag of popcorn and just enjoy the crackle that you hear of the old camera style and the you know Dracula coming down the stairs, Frankenstein. It's so good. I love the Universal monster movies.
I'll leave y'all with this story. When I was a kid, one of the scariest like experiences I had with Halloween,
Mm.
Michael Jackson's Thriller video.
Oh, so good though.
When I was a Listen, when you're a kid and they have you watch when he turns into that big ass cat or
I'm not
whatever.
saying it's not scary. I'm just saying it's real good
Oh,
though.
it's amazing. First he turns into a fucking cat, and then he's himself, and then he's a zombie, and then like there's like one that's like dripping black like ink from its mouth.
Yeah. Solid. Solid, solid,
I
solid.
was like 8, not when the video came out. I wasn't born when that video came out, but when I finally got to watch it, I was still probably too young. But anyway, well, thank you for the suggestions. And you know what, John?
Oh, sure.
Thank you for joining me here on this
Well,
wonderful
thanks for
episode.
having me. This was a ton of fun to talk about things that aren't just horror movies
Right.
for a change. This was great.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back. Especially the closer we get to, Thunderbolts and Brave New World to sort of
Oh,
talk about these
please.
things. Yeah, absolutely. So like we were mentioning before, if you enjoyed what you heard here today, you can get even more of it by checking out John on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Or on Apple Podcasts, right?
Yeah.
I actually just got this show on Apple Podcasts. That's one of the reasons I was like,
Oh,
oh hell
great.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So go check that out. We have a lot of content already out there. We kind of explore different franchises. Sometimes we'll do the occasional one-off. But it's a ton of fun. We have a ton of fun recording that together and just checking out all these movies. If you really want to hear my how I react to certain scenes in certain movies. because sometimes John has me watch some gnarly shit. So you know what I just realized I was doing? I was looking at a camera that's not actually plugged in, instead of my camera that's right here. That's how you know I gotta go. So thank y'all again, John. Thank you again for hanging out, and we'll see y'all for the next one.
Absolutely.
Peace.